Look, 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 it's me, M3, but you already know. Yo, it's me, M3, but you already know. Gone for a minute, now I'm back again, back to break backs again. Put them in the backseat of the lack again. Then rip out the mag, the package. So I was going to do a video on the Dave Chappelle special, The Closer. But by the time I was ready to do it, I wanted to do it on the podcast, but it didn't happen. And then by the time I got it all together, it was like old news, and it was like so much stuff was happening like back to back that I was like, yeah, I'm never going to keep it. By the time I put out a video, it's going to be old news. And then the other day, Kanye did his Drink Champs interview. And so I got to thinking like, man, I should do a video on the Uncancelable, because both of these guys cannot be canceled. And there's a couple reasons why. Uncancelable. Is that a word?
Hell no!
If you haven't seen Dave Chappelle The Closer already, then you either don't care about it or you're not a fan anyway. So I hope you're not one of those people that didn't watch it but still got online and saying how bad it was, or how homophobic or transphobic or whatever it was when you didn't watch the whole thing. So I hope you're not one of those people. Can't judge a whole hour special from bits and pieces of it. You can't like cut out certain clips of it and then be like, hey man, he did this or that. Like, you can't. Anyways, the LGBTQ community, or pretty much just the trans for the most part community, are trying to cancel Dave Chappelle for that special. In this special, he talked about black people. He said his main issue was about white people. He talked about boxing a lesbian. He talked about gay men. He talked about black guys getting killed by the police. Clifford. He talked about kids getting abused in church. He talked about the hippies in his own town. And he talked about the LGBTQ community. Now, I'm not saying who should be offended by what. All I'm saying is that out of all those people, the ones that get the most press and spoke the loudest about how they were affected by this was the LGBTQ community or the trans community. All I'm saying is a comedian. Comedians make jokes about everything. There's in community world, in the world of comedians, almost, I wouldn't even say almost, I just say nothing is off limits. You could talk about anything as a comedian. If you got a crowd for it, you can talk about anything. You can talk about it. It's like saying, I don't like people that wear the color purple. The color purple, I hate the color purple. And if you wear the color purple, I don't like that. Wear a different color. And all of a sudden, Barney, Saints Row guys, and Tinky Winky is like, that motherfucker will never work in this town again. Like, come on, man. Like, it's jokes. And then if I have a punchline with it, too. I mean, you just can't say that. But if I had a punchline with it, then you want their jobs and any future jobs to just dismiss them. Like, he made fun of me, sir. So please fire him. And for all of you people that is thinking about hiring him in the future, don't, because he made fun of me. Like, damn, he made fun of me too. He said, in my hood is a baby on a corner selling weed. They got kids. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. Like, everybody gets made fun of. But just, he didn't go too far, I don't believe. And if he did, talk to the person. He invited you guys. He invited people to talk to them about these subjects. But you're not going to take money out of his plate, because he is on a level that he's not really tied to anything. There's nobody he's signed to. There's no, except for Netflix, but Netflix had his back. Netflix knew what it was before he even put it out. So, and if it was no Netflix, I'm pretty sure he can get his special out some way. If he had to sell it out the back of his car, if he had to make a whole website and you can only get this special from his website, he would do that and he would succeed, because he is Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't need a platform because he is a platform. Just like Kanye. Kanye is signed to, Universal, Def Jam. I don't even think he's signed to Def Jam anymore since the Drink Champs episode came out. He said he wasn't signed to Def Jam anymore, I believe. If you haven't watched Drink Champs Kanye West, it is amazing. Like, you gotta watch the whole thing. 2.5 hours, and it seems short. You know how many people turned on Kanye West for all the things that he's done over his career? First of all, people turned on him for saying the whole George Bush don't care about black people.
Destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Please call.
In the past few days...
Not us. We didn't care, because we agreed with him at the time, even though later on he kept doing the same things. But since we didn't agree with him, we got mad at him for it, which is weird. But throughout his career, he's been the same person. Just his views sometimes don't align with ours or the black community or you personally. And then the stuff we agree with him on, we be like, oh yeah, Kanye did that. George Bush don't care about black people. And then he wear a MAGA hat. And then it's like, oh man, Kanye West ain't been the same since his mother passed. Like, bro, he did the same thing 10 years ago, but since you agree with him, it was like... Anyway, that's a whole different subject. People got mad at him for being a Kardashian, for marrying Kim. Like, people got mad at him for running up on Taylor Swift on stage.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
People got mad at him for wearing a MAGA hat. People got mad at him for the Harriet Tubman comments and the slavery was a choice thing. People got mad at him for all these things. So it's like, oh man, we're going to cancel him. We're going to cancel him. Kanye West is a this, he's a that. He's done. His career is over. He's gone Christian. He's this, he's that, and that. And then he had listening parties. 3 of them sold out just to have a preview of his album. Let me say that again. To preview his album, he sold out football stadiums 3 times just to preview an album. Then he dropped Donda, which to me was an amazing album. Then he got on Drink Champs the other day and was explaining stuff. And this is one of the most coherent interviews that he's done in a while, because usually he off the rails. Made the best tracks and still went off the rails. But he was calm and collective the whole entire thing. He was having a good time. And it was structured well. He brought up points after points after point, and it's smooth. It went through smooth. When you get to that level of Kanye West and the Dave Chappelles, you're uncancelable. Like, there's nothing that they can say. I wouldn't say nothing, but they're looking for it. You can't create issues to bring these guys down. They can say whatever they want. If they believe it, they're going to say it, and there's nothing that any of you guys can do about it. None that I can do about it. None that I want to do about it. They're going to get their message out. No matter if they have an established platform, like, I don't know, because anybody can get on YouTube. YouTube cut them off. They can get on. They can say it outside their house, and they're going to have paparazzi out there. They'll have the news channels going to pick it up. Like, their message is going to get out regardless of what they do, because that's who they are. They're not going to go out there and be offensive for the sake of being offensive, like some people. Boosie. No, but Boosie is weird, though. Boosie have his core fan group from Louisiana or small parts of the country. That's like his core group, and it's really, really small. But no matter what he does, this group is going to be Boosie heads. Like, they love Boosie to death. I know people like this. They love Boosie. Like, Boosie is like the greatest. He's like awesome. And then the rest of the country is like, I mean, I don't listen to Boosie personally, me. But I don't dislike him. I mean, he put out a good record. I listen to it. Put out a good song. I'd be like, oh, okay. But, I mean, I haven't heard a good Boosie song in a long time. And me saying that to certain people, they'd be like, what? He dropped this. Where? How? When? I didn't, you know what I'm saying? But this group of fans, they don't care. They don't care what he does. Boosie is Boosie. Now, if he want to branch out and do his little movie thing that he's doing, and do Boosie Tube, if that was real, or whatever he was trying to do, if he's trying to do that and branch out to more people, then he's going to have a hard time. Because he's going to have people outside that core group get on board with him. And that's going to be tough for him to do, especially now since the whole Nas X thing that came out. Because his core fans, they don't care about Lil Nas X. They don't care about the whole beef and what he said to Nas X. His core group is not going to cancel him, but the outside world already really don't care too much about him, really. They might pay attention like, oh man, it's Boosie. He made independent. But then, like, the world is not checking for him. He ain't gonna go on a whole apology tour like DaBaby or something. Have to go on through all these hoops just to have a concert again, which he's back on tour with Rolling Loud, I believe. The same people that... Anyways, if you haven't seen the Baby video, then I should have it like, bow, over here somewhere. But, yeah, do what y'all don't do, and like and subscribe and all that. But I see y'all again on the next one. Alright?